Article 370, Article 35A artificially suppressed labor markets, land markets, and capital markets. Without economic complexity, Kashmir Valley and J&K state will never be normal, and Kashmir is an economic infant. So basically, I am always reminded that we don't live in an economy, we live in a society. But economist Albert Hirschman has always reminded us that interests trump passions. So interests like jobs, like skills, like enterprises, income trumps passions. There have been a lot of passions in Kashmir over the last 2 decades. People don't realize that between 1947 and 1989, nobody died of gunshot wounds in the Kashmir Valley. But since 1989, obviously, they've been covering up the average. My case is that without economic complexity, Kashmir Valley and J&K state will never be normal. Kashmir is an economic infant. It is an economic infant for various reasons, but there's not a single company with more than 500 employees in the valley. There's only one listed company in the valley. There's only one company with a paid-up capital of more than 10 crores. The debt to GDP ratio is 50%. Its private credit to GDP ratio of Bihar is just equal to Bihar. So there are many reasons I can give you, or many ways I can point in which Kashmir is an economic infant. But that has to change. Given the reality of India, whose economic complexity is substantially higher than what it was in 1991, I really don't see what Pakistan can offer the Kashmiri youth. Pakistan is going to the IMF for the 22nd time last week. Its GDP is now less than Maharashtra, and its currency is down 50% in the last 18 months. So India's economic complexity is what we have to put to work here. And we need a 10-year plan for education, employment, and employability. We need massive investments in infrastructure. We need massive investments in the supply chain for hospitality. We need massive investments in skills, and we need massive investments in design and distribution for horticulture and for floriculture and for handicrafts. Less than 5% of nuts and fruits get processed. That makes absolutely no sense. Obviously, many people will play their part in making this story play out, but an important part is the Kashmiri diaspora. There's so many skilled, talented, and hungry Kashmiris who are all over India and all over the world, and they need to come back and convert this sort of informal self-employment into higher wage employment. Albert Hirschman had another book. He's one of my favorite economists, called Exit, Voice, and Loyalty. Now, when a citizen can do things, they can leave, they can speak up, or they can just become loyal to the regime. The elites have already exited Kashmir economically, if not physically, spiritually, if not in many intellectually, where they've got houses all over, they've got economic diversification. But the masses, the Ghodawala, the Shikarawala, and the average Kashmiri can't leave. But the average Kashmiri is quite talented and is quite hungry and is quite aspirational and is quite ambitious and is quite young, actually. It's quite a young population. So offering these people economic opportunities which leverage India's economic complexity is really what the next decade is about. Article 370, Article 35A artificially suppressed labor markets, land markets, and capital markets. Finally, prosperity is about land, labor, and capital combining in new and productive ways. And I think that can be done. If there's any advice for Kashmiri youth, it is, all of us who grew up in Kashmir and the Valley often heard Iqbal's poem, right? Khud ko buland kar itna ki khuda bande se khud puche bata teri raza kya hai? Which means that make yourself so strong and mighty that God himself asks you what you want. There's a plethora of opportunities for Kashmiris ahead of them, and I hope we can leverage it and give it to them.